Namaste, students. I'm Dr. Almita Kapoor. Our ancient rishis and great scientists like Aryabhata, they were the original trend spotters. They would observe the world, sometimes for their entire lives, just to understand the patterns of the stars and the seasons. Well, today, we're going to follow in their footsteps, but we're going to use a modern tool data. Together, we are going to become detectives and learn how to spot the hidden trends that shape our world. So think about this. You've probably heard your grandparents say something like, "Oh, the summers aren't what they used to be," right? But is that just a feeling, or is there a real measurable change actually happening? To find the truth, a good detective has to look past personal memories and dig into the hard evidence. So let's start our investigation. Okay, first things first, we need to understand our terms, just like any good detective would. On one side, we have weather. That's the day to day stuff, today's sunshine or tomorrow's rain. But on the other side, we have climate. Now, this is the big long term story. It's the overall pattern of weather in a place over many, many years. Our question about summers? That's really a question about climate. All right, let's get our investigation started. We're going to focus on a very specific case the average maximum temperature during the summer months of May and June in Delhi. And we're not just looking at a few years, we're looking at a 50-year period from 1975 all the way to 2025. Here it is, our first piece of evidence. This graph shows the temperature for each one of those years. Just look at it, it's all over the place. You see all those sharp peaks and deep valleys? One year it's really hot, the next is cooler. It just looks chaotic, doesn't it? It's almost impossible to tell if there's a real direction here, or if it's all just random noise. Now, all this messiness, this up and down variation, is actually completely normal. This is that short term weather we were just talking about. It can be caused by anything, really. A heavy monsoon one year, extra cloud cover the next. The important thing to remember is that this is noise. These are random changes that can distract a detective from the real long term story. So, to solve this case, we're going to need a special tool, a tool that lets us look right past all this yearly chaos and see the hidden long term story. We need something that helps us see the whole forest instead of getting lost looking at the individual trees. And here it is. See that orange line cutting right through the middle of all that data? That is our special tool. It's called a trend line. You see, it ignores all those dramatic jumps from year to year, and instead, it gives us the single most important clue the general direction of change over the entire 50-year period. It cuts straight through the noise to show us the hidden signal. So, let's be super clear about this. A trend line is simply a straight line that summarizes the overall direction of change in our data. It's the simplest way to answer the big question over the long run, are things generally going up, going down, or staying about the same? Okay, now that we have our tool, the trend line, we can finally crack this case. It's time to look at the evidence from Delhi and figure out what this line is really telling us about its summer temperatures. The secret language of the trend line is its slope, basically its angle. And it's really simple. If the line slants up, the trend is increasing. If it slants down, well, the trend is decreasing. And if the line is pretty much flat, things are stable. So let's look back at Delhi's graph. Which one do you think it is? And here's the answer our data gives us. The slope is minus 0.0044. That negative number is the key. It means the trend line is slanting just slightly downwards. So for the specific months we measured in Delhi, the average maximum temperature actually shows a very slight cooling trend over the last 50 years. I bet that's not what you were expecting, is it? But wait a minute. Does this mean summers are getting cooler everywhere in India? No, absolutely not. A good detective never, ever jumps to conclusions based on a single piece of evidence. A trend in one city for a couple of specific months might be completely different somewhere else. So let's head to our next location, Bangalore. Okay, let's look at the evidence side by side. On the left, we have Delhi's May June trend, slanting slightly down, and on the right, we have Bangalore's trend for its hotter months, March and April. Just by looking at the lines, you can see the difference, can't you? The direction is clearly not the same. And the number confirms it. For Bengaluru, the slope is positive 0.0038. That little plus sign tells us everything. The trend line is slanting upwards, which means there's a slight warming trend for its average maximum temperature in March and April, over the exact same 50-year period. So, what have we learned from all this? Well, our investigation has revealed a really powerful lesson. It's the wisdom of taking the long view, of thinking like a trend spotter, just like our ancestors did when they observed the skies for generations to understand the cosmos. So here's your guide to thinking like a trend spotter. First, you have to ignore the yearly noise. Don't get sidetracked by one hot summer or one cold winter. Second, always use long term data. You need decades to see the real picture. Third, use that trend line to find the overall hidden direction. And finally, and this is so important, remember that context is everything. A trend in Delhi isn't the same as a trend in Bengaluru. And, this isn't just a classroom exercise. This is exactly how real scientists work. They have to look at decades, sometimes even centuries of information to separate that long term climate signal from the short term weather noise. It's the only way to draw reliable conclusions about what's happening to our planet. So I'll leave you with this thought. You are now a trend spotter. Where else in your own world can you use this skill? Think about the performance of your favorite cricket player over their entire career, not just in one match. Or maybe even your own grades over several years, not just one exam. What hidden patterns might you uncover if you just learn to take the long view?